at some point, Riz was like, yeah, I was an athlete. And the guy was like, 126 pounds? 126 pounds?
Next time, give it loud everybody for Anthony Eugenio. We're up next time. Very funny. Wayne Russell, everybody.
Welcome to the Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne podcast.
Chael Sonnen was one of the best WWE style shit talkers that they had.
Yeah, he was good. He was like he was Conor McGregor before Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor was good at fighting for a minute.
You know,
Very similar, both probably on drugs though.
Yeah, both of us went to the first UFC in Boston, and I don't know if you remember this, but we record. I think we actually might have talked about this before, but we recorded our conversation on the train, and we were talking about doing like a drunk cast. So we recorded a podcast before we were. This is probably like 10 years ago, so way before.
That was the real first podcast.
Yeah. That was cool though. But when we went there, Chael Sonnen fought. He was in the main event. He lost to. What was his name?
I don't remember Chael Sonnen fighting at that.
He was in the main event and he lost. I remember Travis Brown knocked out Alistair Overeem with a front kick.
Damn, you remember that better than I do. I've been to 2 UFC, so they blend together.
Conor McGregor was on that card as well, and I don't remember that. I don't remember seeing him fight, but I looked up the fight card recently and found out he was on the undercard.
He was, and I do remember it because they were like there was already some buzz about him because he had worked out in the UFC gym in Boston, and he was like, "Oh, motherfuckers!" and then he was just doing that whole shit.
Oh man, dude, this is how long I haven't watched UFC. I can't remember the guy's name that Chael fought.
Yeah,
I know I'm going to look it up and be like, how did I forget that? But yeah, that was a fun time. We got to meet Luke Rockhold that night.
Remember that.
Or that day.
He was so handsome.
Such a handsome man.
Not as tall as I thought. That was I thought there'd be big monsters like you see football players and you're like, God damn.
That says a lot coming from you.
I know. I'm a good judge. I can because I got such an angle.
Yeah.
I can see.
God damn. So there's this thing going around the internet right now. This could 100 men beat a gorilla?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, I'm curious about that. Like talking about UFC, like could 100 UFC fighters take out a gorilla? Maybe.
Well, that's what I think that thought experiment was based on. Like, I think you can pick the 100 people, so they're all going to be UFC fighters, right?
It wasn't.
They have to be random.
If you go back to where the thought experiment started, it was a guy who tweeted. I think it was a tweet, and he said, I think 100 N-words could take out a gorilla. Now, he was a black guy that said this, I believe. But that was the original tweet, and that just kind of expanded. So it had nothing to do with UFC fighters or anything like that. Just the peak physical phenomenon of the human race taking out a gorilla. Sure. Not necessarily UFC fighters, though.
So I asked Phil Perry of NBC Sports Boston if the Patriots draft class could take down a gorilla. He said yes. So you've heard it here first.
I think about that lady that got her face ripped off by a chimpanzee.
Which is like a midge. That's like a midge gorilla.
Yeah. Well, there's two things here. It was a midge gorilla, also a woman.
What, the chimp was a lady?
No.
Oh, fight. Oh, yeah. She didn't put up a fight.
Yeah.
She was just like, Jeffrey, no. Yeah. Oh my god. I love watching documentaries on chimps fucking up people because it's so funny. Because the whole time they put them in like little bathrobes and give them little glasses of wine. And they're like, he would never, this is my husband. He would never harm me. Yeah, and then they like take his toy away and it eats your face. I guess it happens after 4 years or something like that. So after a chimp turns 4, they just kind of want to mate and murder. That's what they grew up to be.
Jesus.
Before that, yeah. And that happens, I think, most of the time. Like I don't know. Like, I don't think there are many circumstances where chimps have gotten old and been cool.
That's why you need like a spider monkey, like Spike from Ace Ventura. That is like prime monkey. That's what
I actually think a gorilla is pretty prime monkey. I really think so. Besides the fact that it could tear you apart with its fingers. They are... You've seen Coco, right? Coco the gorilla? You ever seen that?
No.
I think the name's Coco. So fucking cool. Robin Williams cried when he met this gorilla, and it was like the smartest gorilla ever, and it did sign language. It might not be a gorilla now that I'm thinking about it. It's not a gorilla. It's not a gorilla at all. I don't think. I don't know. I have no idea what it is, but it's some sort of monkey that they taught sign language and math and shit, and they gave it a puppy, and it's funny. Because they gave it a puppy, and or kitten, one of the two, and it's like, it wanted to be a mother, but it couldn't have kids, and it was so smart, it could say that. It would be like, I'm sad, I want kids. So they gave it a kitten, and they were all sure, like, it's going to smash that kitten right away. And at least for the first 10 minutes where they actually showing it, it kept the kitten alive. I don't know afterwards if it was like...
It Ozzy Osbourne that shit.
My mom had a monkey. Did I ever tell you about that?
I think you did.
Yeah.
That's
a funny story.
I would not be able to pull that from my memory and say, yeah, Anthony's mom had a monkey, but I'm pretty sure at some point you told me that.
She had a monkey that would habitually jerk off in her window.
Yes, you told me that. Yes, I remember this.
Yeah, he lived outside and he would jerk off into her and her sister's window all the time, like aggressively. And it died because they had to keep it outside because of the jerking off. They were like, way too much. Outside
the window is much better than the corner of the
room. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. He would just sit in the corner like just all the time. So yeah,
the rain will clean the outside of the window. You have to clean the inside.
That was the thought, but the mistake that they made was they put a leash on him and they tied him to a tree, and he Robin Williams himself. Like if he was Robin Williams, they would have said it was an accident. They would have said he killed himself. Yep. That's the two things she told me about that monkey. She's like, he jerked off a lot and killed himself.
What was his name?
Anthony.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Was it really?
No. That'd be funny.
Incredible if it was.
That'd be funny. That's where I got your name from. That'd be funny. Yeah, I think about that monkey all the time. It's such a funny thing. Because my dad... What did my dad meet? My dad met this monkey, I think, at some point, and he was like, hey! Because he would just jerk off.
That's my woman.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, so I've had a friend, Matt. He is proponent of kill every monkey in the world. Don't let monkeys
Me and him have
be.
actually had this conversation at your son's birthday party.
It's pretty foolproof. He said it to anybody who will listen. It's just like you can't keep something so close to us around because eventually we're competition. He's like, maybe not now, but eventually they're gonna rise up, Planet of the Apes style. If we just get rid of them, there's nothing else that's really close. Dolphins can't get out of the water, so we're fine because we're worrying about each other. Nobody's thinking about the monkeys. James Franco is. But then they had to kick him out of movies. Weren't allowed anymore. Jerking off monkey. Yep. I've had a couple animals kill themselves.
What?
My parents were just really negligent. Yeah, we had a dog named Spike. He also fell off the porch with a leash on.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's an immigrant house. That's a thing that you will get in immigrant houses.
Wait,
solely.
where was this? Was this in Lawrence?
Yeah, the dog, not the monkey. Monkey was in Brazil.
Yeah, no, I know that. But you had a fenced in backyard.
Yeah, so they
So
basically
he was on a leash in the fenced in backyard. It was like fuck this shit and jumped over the edge.
kinda. So he saw it was the first day we got him. So he saw the house we brought him to, and he was like, "No, nope, there's an easier way." Yeah, what happened was he ran around in circles. We just got him, and we had to go out. So we're like, all right, he can't pee all over the house, so put him outside, put a nice little leash on him, and I guess he ran around in circles and got like really tight, and jumped off the porch.
Oh Jesus!
And that was the end of Spike. Yeah, we didn't. I don't remember. I never had him. Never saw him.
I remember Blue, who had hip dysplasia, and the reason I remember Blue is because of the hip dysplasia. His body moved like a 1930s cartoon of a fire truck. So he'd be running and then take a turn, and his back end would swing back this way and that. Yeah.
That was my first ever like animal. My dad bred beagles, and he's like, if you get an honor roll,
Didn't do a good job on that one.
no, didn't do a good job with that one, as it turns out. That he was a beast when he was younger. That was an old dog you saw there. He got hip dysplasia from all of the fucking he did. Now, he did a lot of rabbit killing. That dog. He was a fucking animal. He would dig under the fence to get out, or I've seen him. If you get that dog, if you had a chain link fence, he could climb it.
No shit.
Yeah, he would jump up it and climb it and jump over the top of it. And yeah, they would leave for like 3 days, go out, just fucking every dog in the town, and then they'd come home, or somebody would find them and call us. Degenerates, beagles are.
I've heard.
I've
heard. I have a friend that has one now.
You get them real fat. That's what's cool about beagles is they, if they don't break out and go get all the jism out of them, they keep it inside and they get fucking huge. Get little Boston cream pies running around those little fucking things. Just fucking big fatties. Yeah, so we never had a fat beagle. We let them roam. We let them go out there and get it. You ever have a cat?
What's that?
You ever have a cat?
Oh yeah. I hate cats.
Cat? I mean, I know you have cats now, but I meant like as a kid.
I don't
Did you
have
ever
cats
have a cat? You don't have cats?
I did. They died. They died of old age.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's how
before
you
we
know
moved
you're
into this
old,
house,
is you outlive the cat. They live
Yeah.
forever. I've never seen a cat die. I mean, I've seen them on the road dead, but I've never like had a cat long enough for it to die. Seen plenty
Yeah,
of
no,
those.
when I met my wife, she had a cat that got hit by a car. So that thing died pretty horrifically. And then, yeah, 2 other ones. One got pretty sick, had to put it down. The other one, same thing, had something going on, had to put it down. But they were both about like 13, 14 years old. And, well, more than that. No, probably 13, 14, yeah.
I remember we had one cat that we got in. We had it for like a month, and it died of something. I don't know what it was. Got into something, and my dad threw it over the fence into the neighbor's yard. He was like, "Well, no more cats. We're done with cats."
Don't need this anymore.
Yeah, definitely. That's a Lawrence. It was so hard to move to Maine like I did because neighbors are like I have a neighbor who's so good at life, and I've never seen that because I grew up in Lawrence my entire life, and every neighbor you have is your enemy. That's you always see that you are throwing shit in their yard, stealing their power, doing something like that. if you go outside and you see them, you give them a dirty look. That was forever in the history of Lawrence. And I moved to Maine, and then like my neighbor, like when I moved in, came and like knocked on my door with food. And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing?" It's like, "You're trying to fuck my wife. You're trying to fuck my wife." Yeah, it's a way different. He throws axes and shit. It was just
In his backyard?
Yeah, he's like so much better than me. So he was a like a Cub Scout master, whatever the fuck.
No shit.
So every time you see him, high and tight haircut, perfectly. Like I've never. He takes out the trash 4 in the morning.
He had hair.
Perfect hair. Yeah, exactly. He's so much better than you already. Just that one thing. And then, so, just anything. Like, I set up a tent for a party I had at my house, and he let me borrow it. And I set up one, and he set up another. I set up one leg, and he had the whole, he was like, and he set, like, the whole thing up. He put in a bunch of weird knots into it and shit like that. And I was like, man, like, I know you gotta diddle kids to do that, but you can learn a lot of sweet knots. You learn a lot of sweet knots.
God damn.
That's a great Louis joke. You remember that joke about the like sending kids to camp, but they don't do that anymore because they got diddled? And he was like, "Of course they did. Who else would want to spend time with kids in the woods unless they were going to fuck them?" He's like, "And you'll still do it." He's like, "What are you gonna be around your kids?" I butchered it, but that's such a good bit. So speaking of bits, let's good transition to comedy now. How's comedy going?
Yeah, so so since the last time we talked, I was supposed to do a show on Thursday down in Bridgewater for American Federation of Comedy. I had to back out for some family issues, but I think I've come up with a couple new bits that I think might have legs, and I'm working on them. So I'm gonna give them a shout.
Writing season.
Shot.
I'll keep saying that. Summer is writing season.
Yeah.
Must write. But trying to do more writing myself. I can't. Like, I had such a fucking horrible thought today for a bit, which was I looked at my arm, and my arm is, let's see if I can get it on here. My arm, every time I look at it, gets hairier. And I'm like, is my body building its own casket? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like covering me in hair.
That's funny.
It's funny, but I got nowhere to go with that. It's just like a high thought I had.
What I immediately thought of was like eco-friendly. Like everything's eco-friendly now, and like our bodies are on board. My body's building its own casket.
I know. I sleep half an inch higher off my bed than I used to. I'm just fucking covered in Brillo pad. But yeah. So you were writing some bits. I did the Russo show. We'd had Russo on last week.
I was just about to ask about that. Yeah, how'd that go? Down at the Point in Boston for Club Box Comedy, yeah.
He was exactly as advertised and as I was hoping he'd be. What a great guy. He had just one story out of the show. So I'm up on stage and I'm doing my set, and it's a light showing, so I'm really trying to connect with everybody because you can when there's not a lot of people. And I'm working through one of my bits, and I finish one, get a laugh, I start moving on to the next joke, and I see Russo go, "Oh!" and run across the back of the thing. So I stop, because like he was like, "Whoa!" Runs over to Cam, and I stop, so he looks up, realizes what he did, and goes, "Oh, no, keep going, you're good." And I'm like, all right. So I do the rest of my, really awkward, so I do the rest of my set. And then afterwards, I was like, "What was that?" He's like, "Oh, I thought of a good punchline for one of your jokes. I wanted to go tell Cam." I was like, "God damn, dude."
That's awesome.
Man. So he had a guy who was most of the crowd because he brought his family, who went to Pennsylvania College with Russo and wrestled together. And so he said that before the show, not to Russo, but to us, because Russo showed up right when the show started. And in the middle, like the beginning-ish of Russo's set, I forgot what the guy was. You could tell he was just itching for a way to yell out that he knew Russo. And at some point, Russo was like, "Yeah, I was an athlete." And the guy was like, 126 pounds? 126 pounds? and Russo's like, what? And that eventually got down to the point of the guy saying, I wrestled with you in college. And he was like, Bob Dawkins! They fucking went off on a... That might actually have been his name. And they went on... and they talked for like 10 minutes of Russo's set. That's pretty sweet to be able to do that, because he still made it... He still made it engaging. Like it was still funny to listen to him because he was just bullshitting with this guy for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing about it, even if it wasn't like drop dead hilarious, that's the relationship building with the audience, right? Like they're buying into you. They're like, now they're learning about you. So now I'm sure anything he said after that point was probably tenfold more receptive. They were tenfold more receptive to anything he had to say after that. You know?
Yeah, I think so. I that's really something that I have a hard time with, because I think me as a, like, maybe you can relate to this as well, as we're more joke tellers. Mm-hmm. Like, we make it personal, but we're joke tellers. Where I feel like that's the benefit of storytelling comedians, is if you're just connecting with the audience by, like, let me tell you the story, and you have funny little punches throughout it. I think you can, like, navigate those small crowds a lot easier. Because then you're just having a conversation. But when you're doing bits, you're performing. And that's like the thing I'm trying. I notice now more than anything else for newer comedians that I do myself. So it's like something I notice about myself and other people in our range, is that the show starts. You can see it. Like, you can see me go like, all right, I'm into my set. Like, you could see you when you go into the microphone and you start your thing, like, all right, and you get into your thing. And I think that the better comedians don't have that. Yeah. Like, they go up and they're just talking, and it goes into material naturally, and it's slowly, and people are build into it. And that's tough, because I think a lot of that is ad-libbing. I think a lot of that is, you got to be, like, you can't start with your first line. Shouldn't be your first line every time. Like, the first thing you say to your audience shouldn't be material. Like, it should be some sort of, like, way to get them into, feel like they're starting a conversation.
Yeah. I think that comes with, once again, with experience and getting up and just time after time after time, and probably getting bored of, like, for instance, for me, like my pronouns joke, just getting bored of saying that over and over and over again. Like, I'm hitting it now where I'm like, do I want to say that again? I don't know. Maybe. But what else do I have at this point? It's something where you have to keep doing it and eventually get to the point where you, I guess, feel comfortable enough just doing something. I guess, feeling comfortable enough to go up and not have at least a chuckle in the first few seconds. You know what I mean? Just build that, instead, just relationship building instead of get a laugh.
Well, I see like a lot of people
said last week. Just go up and get a smirk or a smile. You don't need a laugh. Just get something to get somebody on your side.
It's hard though to do it in a way that is like obviously when you work with headliners for a long time, you see how they do it. And a lot of time, it's not a bit that they start with, but they do repeat it every time. Like, for instance, like, I was on this show, and now I'm here. Or, man, like, I really, like, wanted to, like, I just did the Wilbur, and I made sure I told these people here that, like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's all either shitting on the venue or...
I said I would be here, but I wanted to make sure that there was nobody in the first 3 rows.
Yeah.
Only off to the side, like that kind of thing. Yeah, it's just, it's, you know what it is. It's not that it's, everybody does it, but it's more commenting on the room, and it is kind of funny though. You see a lot of people do some very similar iterations of that same exact thing.
I think it's a connecting mechanism more than anything else, really. I think it's like, if you can call out something that they go, oh, I was thinking something similar. I remember Steve Sweeney did like 10 minutes in the beginning when I opened for him last about the backdrop that was behind him because it was like a crumpled up fucking black thing that they hung shittily. And he talked about that for like 10 minutes about how, that's what he deserved and all that kind of shit. And I was like, yeah, I know, like you said, with the experience, you have a bunch of that locked in. It is kind of repeatable stuff. But, like Russo, like when he went up, he's like, it was not a lot of people. So he did like, I'm not used to doing this amount of people. That type of, like, again, that's the same, name the X example of that type of joke. And a lot of headliners do it. Should I say most? I want to say like most.
I would say most. I mean, most headliners that I've opened for do something similar to other headliners for the first 45 seconds.
I know, and they're never really jokes. They're just that they're all doing, and I've talked to a headliner about it who had said like, oh, like you could do that. Like that's not a joke. He's like, that's not mine. Like, because he had a very specific way of doing the intro to it. And I'm like, oh, it's cool. You wrote that little thing. He's like, that's not a writable thing. He's like, if someone else did that exact thing, that's fine. Like, it's just a way to.
You say that, but so I think we kind of talked about this offline. I'll say, I saw a feature act do that exact thing, like one of those things that you see all the headliners do. And I was watching the headliner as it was going on, and he was like, oh. Like he was like, God damn it, because I know he was gonna do that,
Yeah.
So I think there's some things, maybe comic etiquette you leave to the headliner. Crowd work, one of them. Shitting on the venue, the other.
That's true. That's so true. It's so hard to get the perspective when you're doing these shows that you don't matter, but you really need to have that. You have to have that so bad, but it's so hard to. And what I mean is like, if you go see Louis concert, he's got openers. Mm-hmm. What was the name of the opener for the Louis that we saw last?
No idea.
It doesn't matter. They don't matter. We don't matter. It's all about the headliner.
No, didn't. It wasn't Tammy Piscatelli for the last one that me and you went to, was it?
No, it wasn't.
No, it was an older one.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was an older one.
It wasn't Joan Grassi, was it?
I don't know her name, but I do want to go back and look at it now because I'm like, she's probably local. Now that I think about it,
Do you have a way to look that up?
Yeah,
please, you don't have to do it now, but like after do it because I'm really curious because I have a feeling. I wonder if it was Joan Grassi because Joan, she's actually somebody that I talked about coming on the podcast before. And, every time she's so awesome. I love her so much. But every time I see her, it's like such a great surprise. But she opened for Wayne Newton. She was a comic in Las Vegas and this and that. But now she's local. Yeah. She's here. She's a teacher. It wouldn't surprise me if it was her. And it was years before we started comedy and, whatever. But yeah,
that makes sense. Well, to my point, she doesn't matter. So sorry, Joan, because that's where I was going with this.
It probably wasn't her. But if it, like, I remember being an older lady. And not older in a elderly way, just older than what we were back then.
Yes, and I'd fuck her if that's where you're going with this. Whatever age she was, I would have dicked her down. But anyways, she was fine. And anyways, my point is, I think a lot of what, like, you're working on your craft as an opener, and that's the first thing you should be doing personally. But if you're thinking about for the show, you should really just be trying to serve the show in whatever way. Like, I like to, like, I went up to Russo before, and I'm like, do you want me to see how dark they'll take a joke? And like, I want to give them, like, something useful to take into their set more than anything else, so they can crush it. Because that's why the people are there. They're there to see the headliner. That's the person who's going to, the faces on the flyer. So that's why, like, when I see somebody that will, like a host or an opener, crowd work the whole time, you're like, damn, like, I know that it helps your set and it might make it go better. And you're like, well, the show's better because I got that good laughs and then they got a good run to it. and maybe the headliner isn't going to do any crowd work, but you're like, what if he does? That's the crowd work that's supposed to be done. If he does, that's supposed to be done by
That's
that
kind of
person
something
or
you
she
should kind
does.
of know, right? Like, so there was a
Happens all the time. That's why.
there's a crowd work comic locally here, and there was a comic that went up before him that went 10 minutes over their time, and the whole 10 minutes was like all crowd work. And then the crowd work comic went up, and there was like nobody left to talk to. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think if you're going to do crowd work, at least have a little bit of understanding of who the headliner is, because ultimately they're the draw, quote unquote, the draw, right?
Yeah, and I used to think crowd work meant anything related to the audience, but now I've kind of like, for me, I don't mind interacting with the audience because you have to connect, and I will totally do that as an opener or feature. But it's the crowd work I'm talking about that I think you shouldn't do is the more like, where are you from?
Yeah.
What is your
exactly.
job?
Yeah.
That type of crowd where you're physically pulling information out of them because you're like, then you can't do, like, if it's part of your joke, then it's fair game because they're not going to do your joke. So what's
Sorry, we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
I guess we should have specified that to begin with.
I wasn't arguing with you. I was just
No,
saying,
I agree. I'm just saying people who are listening that may not be on the same page as us. Yeah,
you can fuck yourself if you're not on the same page as me. If you don't agree with everything I say, I hate you.
You can interact with the audience, right? You know, like, I have a few jokes where I interact, but that's not crowd work. Crowd work is, like you said, pulling information out and riffing on that information.
Yes.
For the purposes of this conversation, I guess.
Oh man, a guy at the point. At one point I was I was doing my pivoting stuff because I didn't plan a set. I was just like, all right, let's tell some jokes and move around as I like. And I asked him at one point, like, if you like dark jokes, please clap. And so people started clapping. And then one guy went, "Do you like dark jokes?" And I went, "Ugh!" Like, it was like, it must be what it's like if you're a therapist and you're talking to somebody and they're like, "How was your day?" And you're like, "Oh, don't do that. Don't fucking talk to me." It was so weird getting a question from the audience. You know what I mean? Like, I told him, I was like, dude, I was like, I'm not your therapist. Don't you dare try to don't you start. He had like this is the problem with this guy. Why I personally didn't like him. He had a plaid shirt on, right? Those are cool. That's fine. Plaid's great. You know, like am I saying right? Like when I say plaid, you think lumberjack plaid, right?
Yeah.
See, this guy had like I'm trying to think of how to say this without being derogatory to a whole group of people. But his had like gay colors all over it. You know what I mean? Like it was like a plaid, but it was like fucking like orange and pink and all that shit. And I'm like, so
He was Sherbert.
he was Sherbert. Exactly. He was a Sherbert plaid motherfucker. And I'm just like, if you wear that to go camping most of the time, I was like, that's like a glamping shirt that this guy was wearing. It was annoying. I was like, those should be muted colors, sir.
The Trinity not
so
going to
loud.
get me.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's like he was camouflaging for Dick in the wild or something like that. He's like, I just better hide as a fucking fruity bird. A lot of the animosity I have to him was because he interrupted my set, so that's probably why I'm shitting on him like that. So everybody out there, hold your horses if you wear colorful gay plaid like that. But just know, I think it's funny. It kind of be like assless chaps, right? Like imagine you were wearing assless chaps, but you made them like the Patriots colors or something like that, like Patriots logo on it. You're like, that's not like, it's fine. But, like, that's a manly thing that you're putting assless chaps on. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. Like, they wouldn't like it either.
All right.
You got nothing on this. So let me keep
You
going
lost
on
me
this
a
since
little
you got
bit.
nothing
You
on this.
lost me a little bit.
Bring you back.
You
So
sports reference. It was sports reference, and my brain
know.
just went, no.
Yeah, I know. I turned off when I mentioned sports.
Yeah.
So I've been watching The Sopranos. I've been again rewatching it. You've watched it.
Yes.
Okay, so in season 6 is the funniest season of any show, maybe ever, is them trying to navigate Vito being gay, where they catch him and they're like, whoa! Just it's a bunch of that for like 3 straight episodes. They're like, he's a magok, and they just have a bunch of names. And they catch him by Vito's one of the as a captain in the family, and he goes to a gay bar dressed in a police vest, like all the stuff, and he grabs a guy and he's like, "You're mine," and he runs away with him, and they're doing collections there, so they see him and they're like, "Vito, you're a F," so they F slur. That's for Jeremy. I will make sure I don't say.
See, you would think that's who you would want on your team because he'd take a straight shot.
That's what makes the episode so funny, is because not only are they Italian and race and homophobic, but like you also get Tony Soprano with the therapist, kind of like saying like he's like, I don't even really care if they do that. He's like, when we go to jail, he's like, it's a long time. We kind of give you a pass if you do shit like that in there. So it's a really funny, like him trying to like, I don't know why we hate this, but we hate this. Yeah. And they, and then Vito moves to New Hampshire, where all the gays go apparently. And he goes to New Hampshire. He goes to New Hampshire and he falls in love with a firefighter who makes flapjacks at the local diner. And he goes in there. He goes, I can't start my day without my Johnny cakes. And I'm just like, you watch it and you don't realize how ridiculous it is. But if you just stop for a minute, it's the funniest. It turns into a comedy for a whole season with that whole Brokeback New Hampshire thing that they do with them. And it's my favorite. It's my favorite thing in the world is probably this season of The Sopranos. It's so funny, but it's a good character too. That's a good thing about it. Is like the show makes it so that you're laughing at the fact that they're going after him for being gay, but at the same time they give him a crazy good arc. I don't know. Love me some Sopranos.
Sopranos is great, man. It really is. I like how it's almost like you're just peering in on the life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just Italians, man. They are so fucking. They're so crazy. And I don't know. I feel like I'm adjacent enough to Italians where I could shit all over them and say that they're just fucking the worst people. But they also, it's like they say every word wrong in a hilarious way. Like he at one point, I think it's last season, he ends up his father's guma, which is the lady that his father banged on the side. He runs into her, and he finds out that she banged JFK too, and he delivers like my favorite line in all of The Sopranos so far was where Tony realizes that she bangs JFK and he goes, "Holy shit!" It's just like it's just so good because you know that the guy's not from New Jersey, so he's just like, this is what these pieces of shit sound like. Shit! It's so good. But yeah, so I find the little things in the show, I will say, that make me laugh. But yeah, that one's good. But maybe I'm just, maybe I just love the gays because I also love, I love the Vito arc, but also Last of Us. Did you watch the season of Last of Us, the first one? I know you played the game, but did you?
The first one, yes. Yeah, I haven't started the second. Actually, I didn't watch the last couple episodes. I forget why. Something happened. Like we didn't watch the last 2 episodes, but I mean, I know
that's the best ones.
The first season follows the game pretty religiously.
It does,
aside from the Bill arc.
That's what I was about to get into.
Yeah,
the Bill arc.
But I haven't started the second season yet.
What'd you think of the Bill arc?
I liked it. I liked it because it gave it some. It gave him some more character, some more background, and like Bill is one of those characters in the game that you never meet. Oh no, you do meet him, right? Yeah, you meet him.
You meet him, yeah. You never
they
meet
didn't
his
him. They
partner.
didn't meet him in the show. Yeah, you meet him in the game, but you don't really get a ton on his social life. You know what I mean?
It's true.
And I think it was
I
really
cried.
cool
Cried like
seeing
a baby.
the background of Bill in a more cinematic way.
Yeah, I was gay for a while after that.
Yeah,
Like it was, I cried.
love is love, man.
Oh my god, their beards kissing is so good. So is the guy from the guy that played his gay there was from what's that show that everybody loves on HBO now? Oh fuck, I can't. White Lotus. He was on the first
Oh
season
yeah,
of
White
White
Lotus.
Lotus.
Yeah,
Oh my god, he did such a good job on that show too. But yeah, talking shows. This is where we're at now. This is our comedy career. Now we're talking shows. I actually, to be frank, this is what I think we should do in the show. I don't think like that anybody, if this is going to ever be listened to in the future, is going to give a shit about our week to week like shows that we do. For the most part, I think they're mostly going to like jerking off monkeys and that type of and shows that we like. I think that's going to be the ticket.
I agree.
Oh, you made it onto a bad flyer. I want to talk about that.
I did.
Yeah,
I did. It wasn't even a bad flyer. But so
I know.
for
I'm
the
some bullshit
people
about it.
people who don't really know or are not sure what we're talking about, there's a Facebook group called Bad Comedy Flyers.
It's
And-
national, right?
Yeah, it's national. So
Although
it
it's
just
mostly
happens
Boston.
to be a lot of Here's the thing: a lot of Boston comedy, Boston comedians are just so negative. So they post a lot of these flyers on there. So I see a lot of Boston flyers or Boston area flyers on this. I don't even go on it, but every once in a while I'll poke through. When me and you make a flyer, I'll poke through just to see if it gets it on there. Or I shouldn't say me and you. When you make a flyer, because I don't make flyers, I make the videos. But I'll go through and see if it's on there just for funsies. But I saw that a show that I'm on for Chef Phil, shout out Chef Phil, Tiki Rock down in Boston on 6/1, 5 o'clock. Come on down.
Wow,
Bunch of great people on there. I didn't even know who was on it. Matt Devlin's on there. Xtina's on there. Obviously,
Yeah.
Chef's on there.
Great
A
lineup.
lot of great people.
And
on
a great flyer.
But a great flyer. It was a really, really fun flyer. There's a lot of it's a showcase, so there's a lot of people on there. But it ended up on the Bad Comedy Flyer Facebook group, and it wasn't even that bad. Like it's it's good actually. Like really, if you look at it, it's a good flyer.
It's a pretty
got
good flyer.
It's got the tiki theme to it. It has all the faces on it, so everybody gets a little bit of a shout out. It's got the names on there.
on.
It has all the info you need, the time, the place, the price, all that stuff. But it was an anonymous member who was probably a little pissed off that they didn't get on the show.
Did you see the non-anonymous member who talked shit on it?
No, I did not.
Oh.
I looked at it one time right before I sent it to you, and then
Well,
never
maybe
again.
you'll bleep this. Who knows? This is up to you because I don't care. But Ben of who we've had
Hey,
some run-ins
what's
with
up,
in the
buddy?
past. Ben, what's up, Benny? So basically, the flyer posted onto the Bad Flyers page. The caption from the anonymous member was, "It had potential," right? Mm-hmm. I think that's what it said. And then Ben commented underneath, "No, it didn't with that lineup." Like he was basically saying, with that lineup, it didn't have potential.
Well, guess what? We're not going to bleep it. I hope you still listen. We're doing a lot of good things, pal. We're fucking having a good time. Yeah, didn't see you on the didn't see you on a flyer recently. If I do,
That
I'll
was
throw you on that
exactly
website.
what Chef Phil said. So that was his. It is a pretty kryptonite like rebuttal if you're Ben and you're listening to that because you can't really you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a flyer.
No, but I mean, he might be. This is to give him the benefit of the doubt. He might be a troll. Like where it's like it's on purpose that he is burning every bridge and shitting on it because he's just saying his truth and he will not compromise. no matter who he pisses off or
Yeah.
how mean and
It's
stupid it is to say.
probably I like that a lot. But
But he does say lots
hey,
of mean things.
he said some mean things. He has very
Well,
mean.
I mean, at least he knows that he's got it coming when he says that on there, and then doesn't
Yeah.
have a flyer of his own.
Yep.
Should make him a flyer. We should make him one.
We should just him.
Just
You
him.
can find him in the living room every Friday and Saturday from 8 to 10.
Boston Comedy 2-page headlining.
Not with. Yeah, I'm going to stop here because this is going to be way too much to bleep. Way too much to bleep.
Way too much to believe. Yeah. Well, it's not an open mic pain episode if we don't talk about Boston comedy drama. It always
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
We should talk about a good thing. Our boy Carlos Z headlined. That's
Yeah,
fun.
my man Carlos.
Funny vibes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really because he started using a guitar, and I can't even imagine how many minutes that adds to your set to be able to start adding fucking songs into it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's
so. So he has a song. He sent it to me a couple of months ago, and he's like, I did this song. I don't know. I think I might add it to my set. And he's like, what do you think? And I listened to it. I'm like, dude, that should be the end of every single one of your sets. It's fucking incredible. It's so good. Have you heard the song?
I don't know how many songs he has, but he played one of them at an open mic that I went to. It's the only one I've heard, and it was great. It was about
Was it the one about his ex girlfriend?
I don't remember.
Okay,
I don't remember who it was about. It was.
I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give anything
Yeah.
away about it, but it was incredible. I told him you should really lean into this because it's going to make you different. And and that song in particular was stuck in my head for days after I listened to it. Even every once in a while now, I'll still sing the chorus. Really good stuff.
Well, he's a fantastic musician, which is a great thing to add to it. Like, I play music, and I love music, and that was what I wanted to do before comedy, for sure, was be a musician. But I can't combine it. I don't know why. Not like I know I can physically write out a progression and sing a funny song in front of it, but I'm just too, that's not me
Doesn't
on
match the
stage.
character.
Just doesn't match the character. Exactly. For Carlos, it fits him perfectly.
Yeah.
Isn't it annoying when you see somebody good at something? You're like, man, I just no one will buy that if I do it. That's actually kind of the basis of something else I'm trying for the joke, which is the talk tough thing. I don't know if I talked about that on here yet. But I think that's
yeah, we talked about a little bit with Russo last week.
Oh, did I have to talk smart instead? Yeah, I did.
started
Yeah, maybe I
it,
said
you
it.
called me an asshole for it.
What do you mean?
You, I mentioned to Russo that you have a gay little body, and you're like, well,
Ah.
Wayne's bringing up a joke like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, that's a dickhead thing to do. That's like when you're on the radio. If you're on the radio and they're like trying to set up your bits to do, it's like, dude, can't do that. Can't do the fucking. Don't make me do bits at Russo. Yeah,
I wasn't making you. I was just calling you gay, a gay little body.
yep. I hope that joke works because man, that's a nice piece of self-deprecation.
It's a great little idea.
I know. I just gotta figure it out. I like the talking tough faction to it. I think that'd be funny.
Yeah, the whole part of it. We can talk about this afterwards, but the part that I'm worried about with that joke is the "I'm gonna fuck you after." May not work for every crowd. You might need an alternative.
And the good thing about it is that's all. So I'll say it. So if you're listening, it doesn't annoy you. I really want to be better at not inside talking about a joke, and someone's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So the bit that I have is I am too small to talk tough. Like anything that comes out of my mouth with aggression is just funny. It's not taken seriously. So what I've had to do is learn how to talk smart instead of talking tough. Like if I'm about to fight you, I'll say something like, "The chances of me knocking you out are very small. But just know that if I do, I will fuck you." So that's the bit. So I know that that last line of what I do could be a bunch of different things. So I do know that there's a lot of, I had a different one before, actually, but I was working with Justin on it because I'm stealing the situation from him. And he was said the one about the fucking afterwards because apparently he said that somebody wants to. He said he got out of a fight once by telling somebody he was going to fuck them. I was like, that's a good thing for a small person to say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's some gold. There's something there. Not gold, but there's something there. I did Dr. AIDS in front of. I mean, I want to. It wasn't a real. I don't want to call it a real crowd because it was the same amount of people you get at open mic.
Yeah,
but it's the first time where
people comics.
Yeah, well, it was the same amount of people that you would normally get, but there would also be comics, so it might even be less for this one. But it was the first time that I've done it where people were just like, "Damn!" at the end of it instead of laughing, because it's a thing I like to do after Lady of the Night if I think they're like, these people love dark jokes, let me up the ante. And I just guessed wrong because like Adam Grotman was there and he brought the other half of the crowd who was his aunt, I think. Very nice lady. And her husband.
Could lift 10 times her body weight.
Aunt. You cunt. God damn you. I was like, he didn't just give me that, did he? He did. I gotta fucking find Wayne. I don't know. I'm so blinded with rage I can't go on. So Wayne is a cunt, and we're gonna tank the episode views by
another bleep. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So I might have made a mistake going and doing Dr. AIDS with the aunt of an already, middle-aged man, so quite an old lady.
Did she have AIDS?
No, but when I'm like, and the doctor is getting in, you can see that she's there to support her nephew.
She was like Peter, Peter from the open mic too. He's like
Peter. Oh, Peter. Yeah, he had a hell of a clap. Yeah, he'd be like.
That guy was incredible. I just loved every time he didn't appreciate a joke. He was just like his hand over the mouth, like.
Yeah. In his defense, we asked him if he liked dark jokes, and he was like, "No," and we were like, "You're still getting it. But, we're not good enough yet."
The other girl did,
and she was hotter than him. So that's what happens to Peter.
Yeah, slightly, but yeah.
So I'm doing Dr. AIDS, and I'm getting in there for the joke, and I'm really like, yeah. And then he got in my butt, and then I said, "I'm not a bottom," and all this stuff. And I'm really just looking at, there's two people there who aren't related to the rest of the group, basically. And they're just like a young couple. And the guy's laughing because it's ridiculous. And there's like the grandsons of the people who came out to see Russo. They're laughing. The rest of them shouldn't laugh at that. And I shouldn't have done it. So there's that. And I also threw Giraffe in I just had done my Tigers joke, which is at the zoo. Giraffe is at the zoo. So I'm like, I got two zoo jokes. I'll put them together. I didn't really read the room. Like, I think they were all Jewish. I think that family might have been, and they were most of the crowd. So that was a tough one. Got a pretty bad groan on that. But it was a groan in the sense of like it propelled the next joke of like, I don't know how to say it. Like the save that I did to it was a very loud pop. So it's one of those you do that and you're like, that fucking worked still. It wasn't like the joke was bad. It was like I just went 5 fucking yards past where they wanted to be. But Russo gave me a really good tip actually on that joke of how to take the heat off me. And I think it'll work.
I like that. Yeah. I can't wait to see how that does for you.
Yeah. It's This is a good tip for if you're writing too. If you're writing something where you seem like a dickhead at the end of saying it, which is a lot of what I say, is a mean thing. If it's too far, really my style is I like to get up to the line. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find the line and be right at it because that's where the excitement goes. Like I love my favorite laugh isn't like the big booming laughs. It's like the person that's leaning over laughing, trying to hide it because it's fucked up that they're laughing at that. I love that. Like that's like my favorite thing to do. But you got to learn how to get the heat off you sometimes on a joke, like where you can say it. Like I had a joke where I my kid's first words are coming from me, and I'm teaching him. So when he sees something interesting, he'll say something like, "Oh wow, your mother's a C." So that was the original version of a joke I used to do, and it's a mean. It would get like whoa, like that type of laugh. Sometimes I'm looking for, but I would also shut off the crowd sometimes. And the advice I got was, no, you have to mimic your kid more. Like you got to be like, holy shit, when the kid says it, like, you have to act out that you don't co-sign that. Because if you're telling the story and you can put the perspective onto somebody else, it kind of takes the heat off you. So that's good advice. So like I have a joke about talking to animals at the zoo because I'm high and wondering what they would say. And I basically ask a giraffe why isn't hanging out with other giraffes, and he said because those are giraffes. So, man, I love that joke. I don't care who gets mad at me for it. It's such a funny joke. But the advice I got was instead of saying those are giraffes, just say, oh, you mean the giraffes? That line, just by having some confusion in it, takes it off of that I'm pointing at them and calling them a thing. Because Russo said that he's like, it's like saying those people, like that type of thing, like that mentality that you can just say it in a different way. And he was completely right. I think that would make it more evergreen.
Yeah, that's pro advice right there.
Sometimes though, I like to fucking, I hate, like I feel like I'm taking the cop out where I'm not. Like sometimes even if a story is if it's self-deprecating about somebody else, I'll make it me in the story because I think that people will connect with that better. But I think if you're being a dickhead, I don't know how much like you got to walk that fine line before the audience doesn't like you. Then you don't want to hit that line. That's a big thing for newer comedians too. There's lots of groans that I can see headliners. They talk about getting the groans out of your set, and I can see it. Because even like I don't know, does Jesselnick get groans?
Does what get groans?
Like Jesselnick when he's doing a theater.
No, he doesn't because here's the difference: is he has people going to see him specifically. He's not opening or featuring for somebody that other people are going.
Yeah, but you got to be even more shocking when you do that. Like if someone's coming to see you because they're shocking, like you almost got to you got to surpass their expectations.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Interesting thought to end the show on, right? We got anything else to talk about before we wrap up?
I do. I have a question for you, actually.
Oh, I love this. What's your favorite movie?
Does this look familiar to you?
It's not me. It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
It was me, but no. I know what it is, but it wasn't me. You should reveal it. That's pretty funny.
It wasn't you. Oh.
No.
I should have known by the Neanderthalic handwriting.
Yes,
probably
you know who
Justin. Am I right?
I'm not saying shit. I'm not going to give up the person who it can be. But Wayne got a package in the mail that I knew was coming to him.
I did. I got a package in the mail, and it threw me off.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
I don't know how. I'm trying to figure out how to go about this, and I love this.
He's going to be so happy to see this.
I'm gonna say I love this. So I get this paper here in the package that says, Wayne, it was good to see you again, your pal Billy. Now, I have a buddy named Billy who recently came to one of my shows, and I was very confused by this until I opened the package rather, and there's a book called Friends of a Feather, One of Life's Little Fables by Bill Cosby. And
It's a children's book by
I
Bill
still didn't
Cosby.
really fully get it. I was like, why would Billy send me this? And then I realized that behind the little note was this signed picture of Bill Cosby. Which I'm gonna have to reach out and find out if that's a legit autograph. If it, I mean, that's incredible.
I
Either
think
way.
it is. I'm
I
pretty sure that's a legit.
Yeah, I mean, it looks it, and either way, against my wife's better judgment, it's going on my wall.
Yeah, you know what I got from this piece of shit, by the way? So he did the same thing to me and sent me an unsolicited package to my house, and he sent me this.
Yeah, dude, that's so
Yeah,
good.
which is a great book, by the way, because it's by Judy Carter, who's an incredible comedian, and it's about getting in touch with your inner homo. That's what it says. I swear to God, it says that in the book, so don't get mad at me. And that is important to do that for your set because
Yeah,
of stuff.
the best
But
thing
yeah,
about this was I opened it up, and my son saw the book, and he goes, "Is that for me?" And I was like, yeah, I think so. We're gonna have to read this together, bud.
oh my God.
I mean, what am I gonna say? I told him no to begin with, and he got upset.
Next week, Mayan Kampf, maybe? Is that what you can't fucking read every book to him?
I'm very curious to read this and find out. There's got to be comedy in there somewhere, right? Like what he did.
I bet it's a great book. So I showed my wife the picture of what you got, and she's like, damn, that's like getting him Hitler's teacup. Like, that's a tough thing to get somebody.
Tom Segura got Bert Kreischer Hitler's teacup. Oh, that was
She
that
saw
what it
that.
was?
That's right.
She knew that, huh?
Yeah,
That's impressive.
Pretty good,
But,
right?
Once again,
What a thing.
Justin,
So,
thank-
audio listeners to the podcast, he got an autographed picture of Bill Cosby, a children's book written by Bill Cosby, and a note that says, "Great to see you, Wayne," or something like that.
which was probably very reminiscent of what Bill Cosby left for his victims.
Yeah, I think overall that's an incredible gift.
It's the pudding pop picture, which look at his face. It's the pudding pop picture.
It's the pudding pop picture. Yeah,
It made me laugh. It freaked me out for about 5 minutes. And I was like,
I
"This
wonder.
has to be Anthony.
Yeah,
This
who
has
did
to
that?
be Anthony." So I was
knew right away.
convinced it was you. But now, obviously, I know who it is. If it wasn't you, it was one other person.
No, they did ask me for your address. I was like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I can't keep like every single person who I've ever met in comedy. I forgot their name. It's just I can't keep the dates in my head or the facts or the numbers. So no way I'm gonna remember your address. But they persevered and somehow still got it.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Oh, there
Maybe
you go.
Jacques is leak. Go after
It's
Jacques.
probably Jacques, yeah.
You leak, Jacques. Did you leak?
He'd be the only other person.
I don't know. You say that, but how did he get mine? I don't know. He just got skills. He will put disgusting material in your mailbox, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, unless it was my wife. And she's not good at hiding stuff, but like, oh man, did he message my wife? My wife.
Oh, my wife.
My wife.
Are you here to fuck my wife? Yeah.
Well, thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. He left the price on it.
That's a big time. He tried to big time you. Tried
Although
to
he
big
didn't
time
put
you
the
there.
price on the picture. This is
That's priceless.
how much do you think this picture would be worth if I went to a Bill Cosby show today and had him sign his name on a picture of him that he already signed the name on?
Not much more. But if you get him to put on lipstick and then kiss it, then you got something. I mean, he won't even know. Like, he's senile and old now. You can get him to do anything. He's got one of those like dog glass eyes there that are fucking milk
The
colored.
milky eyes, yeah.
He's got milky eyes now. You got a pre-milky eyes picture of Bill Cosby, which I don't know which one's better.
He has a sweater on too. What kind of watch is that? I don't know. It's a fancy watch. He's got hairy wrists, dude.
Yeah, goddamn right.
He has like fro wrists.
Got all that.
It's like afro hair on his
testosterone.
wrists.
Really? That
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if you can see it. Where's the camera here? Can you see it?
Nah, you don't have good enough material to focus. Sorry. And we disproved your because you're the host, your camera looks like shit theory. Did you see that? Me and Jeremy?
No. I know, I heard
Do you have another excuse? I knew you would have a fucking excuse. I knew it. I was like, there would be no way that he'll ever just go, yeah, you're right. It's me. Go ahead. Go ahead and say how it's not you.
It may be streaming, but it all saves locally. So yeah, I mean, you might not see it as clear as the people that are going to see this in the final form.
But I mean, though you're correct in the sense of it doesn't look this bad as I see your face right now where it looks like a microwave, it does look markedly shittier.
But here's the thing, your face to me doesn't look like a microwave. So
I know that's the point. That's even when I was the host, my face didn't look like a microwave.
So my upload sucks, but my download's fine.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's your upload speeds are very bad.
Yeah.
Say it. He agrees.
Maybe.
Holy shit.
It could be.
Oh my God.
It could be.
Oh my God. I'm going to kiss you when I see you next. I've been waiting for that. That's the last thing I've been waiting for before I kissed you. I've been playing Uncharted 4.
Oh, yeah?
That's been pretty sweet. Yeah, I finished Last of Us 2. And,
again?
Man, do they get... Yeah, I got the remastered one or whatever, because it's got this new mode in it called No Return, which is pretty sweet. It's you go out...
Go ahead. I was going to ask you what it was.
So... Oh, yeah. I was going to explain, you piece of shit. So it's basically you pick a character that's in the thing, and then you go out, and it's you just have encounters. Is it a roguelike, I guess? It's kind of like a roguelike, where you have encounters, and you move on to the next level of encounters, and when you die, you have to start at the beginning of the encounters. Like the game we were playing that we could never get past.
So roguelike, yep.
Yep. And they did like randomize the encounters and all that crap. And it's pretty sweet because you get like right into the action and you can, it's like cool gameplay dynamics and all that. But anyways, I was watching season 2 of the show, which ends tomorrow. And I was like, I might as well play the remastered game. It's only $10 to upgrade to it or whatever the hell it was. And it was good, but now I'm all Naughty Dogged up. So I wanted to play Uncharted.
Nice.
That's what the game Uncharted is. Yeah, there's none of that like wokeness put into it that happened to Last of Us 2, where they were like, let's make this entire game woke and make one of the main characters a chick that's ripped out of her mind. And you're like, listen, don't do that, Naughty Dog. I get it, it's a good game, but don't do that. Why do you gotta make... And then later in the game you're saving somebody and they're like, they're coming after me because I'm a woman and I cut my hair like a man. And you're like, God,
yeah, they definitely shoehorn some
it.
stuff in there, which I have no problem with any of the things that they put in there, but they kind of shoehorned it in. It was like, you know what I mean by that? Like they shoved it in there where it had no place. Like it didn't further the story any.
No, and a ripped chick is gross.
Jesus.
I don't know. No, I mean, I'm not saying like how do I say this? Like you got to see her like she's like Brock Lesnar, like a Brock. All right, let's end this before I get any more trouble. This has been a step.
Somewhere.
It's been a step.
It's been a step somewhere.
It's been a step somewhere into trouble. She had a monkey that would habitually jerk off in her window.